While hosting an Instagram Live over the weekend, Lizzo couldn't contain her emotions as she read off a message to her fans from local officials on the current climate in Minneapolis, also sharing that protests have only begun to escalate. What's up, y'all? It's Emil Ennis Jr. back here with Clevver News, and Lizzo's recent Instagram Live shows firsthand just how much pain last week's horrific events are causing the nation right now. Along with Lizzo, millions of people all over the country have been affected by the recent tragedies following George Floyd's death, as seen by social media posts and news articles circulating the internet. Protests and riots have broken out in many different cities across the world as people continue to fight for social justice and equality. Lizzo is one of thousands of celebrities who have used their platform to speak out on ways to educate yourself and help create change throughout the past week, but her latest video on Sunday single-handedly showcased the raw emotion and pain felt among the Black community. While hosting an Instagram Live, Lizzo, who has previously lived in Minneapolis, relayed a message she received from local officials on the current state of the city where George Floyd's death occurred, and broke down over the fact that the Black Lives Matter protests have only escalated. She started out by saying, quote, "What they just told me is at this point, all the violence, the majority of the violence that's happening in that city is coming from the KKK and the heavily militarized police. There are people coming from the South. There are white supremacist terrorist groups coming from the South, patrolling the streets, shooting people. Follow some people in Minneapolis because the real story is not being told fully." That's when Lizzo began to break down and tear up while trying to process the recent events, saying, quote, "It's never Black people. It's always white people using the term race war. We don't want that. We want what we've always wanted from the beginning of being in this country, the same right that all these other people have." She then took a second to compose herself and proceeded to say, "It's not that hard to see. The people that don't see it don't want to see it. I don't have sympathy for people who don't see it anymore. Black people are tired. We are so tired." Lizzo continued to speak about the fact that she's fed up with putting herself in danger, not from protesters, but from police who don't value Black people, as well as white supremacist groups who have been actively conducting violent riots and shooting innocent protesters around the country, adding that the issue runs much deeper than politics. She also used her own experience of looking to celebrities when she didn't have a platform and wondering why some weren't using their platform. She said, "I wasn't in this position a year ago with this profile. I remember every time these things happened, I would look to these famous people and say, where are your voices? Why aren't you speaking up for us? I have to realize that responsibility as well. It would be irresponsible of me to not reflect the times, irresponsible to not tell the truth." I think we can all agree with her in that this is the most outrage our country has seen, but Lizzo was sure to take this and end her live stream on a positive note.
And that is starting to give me the first semblance of hope that I've had in a long time.
She added, "I still believe that everybody's life matters, but until we start treating each life equally and respecting each life equally, we gotta say Black Lives Matter. I hope that everybody can just really see this for what it is. Open your mind, open your heart, listen, believe." Amen to that. But fans began praising Lizzo for sharing her thoughts and continuing to do so over the past week. Comments came flooding in, like one user who wrote, "We need to keep pushing until there is a real change because it is not acceptable for people of color to be treated like this." Another fan emphasized her point in that you can't just say, "I'm not racist." You need to be anti-racist. The longer you stay silent, the longer you're part of the problem. Lizzo said it great. Others wrote uplifting words of encouragement, ranging from literally could not have said any of that better to thank you for using your voice and speaking facts. And some parting words from Lizzo.
But what we can do when we actually come together for each other is what the future of this country is all about.
And with our voice and our platform, we at Clevver also want to make sure we've made our stance clear that we all stand with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, and every other Black person who has tragically lost their lives due to the color of their skin. We've linked some resources and places to donate down in the description below, and we will continue to cover these stories and have these conversations because this is only just the beginning. Please share all your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you want to hear about which celebs are demanding justice for George Floyd, click right over here for another Clevver News video. I'm your host, Emil Ennis Jr. It's great to be back, and I'll see you guys soon right here on Clevver News. Bye, guys.